Great. Well, welcome to the Solution Point, where we talk about solutions to your life, your business, and the law. So, Kat, glad to be back in the saddle with the podcast, and tell us a little bit about who our guest is today.
Yeah, well, great to be back. We took a bit of a break, but we are back in the saddle and super excited to have our newest guest who wears, as we were just talking about, many hats. We've got from New Braunfels area, Yitzchak Pierson, and he's dedicated to many things, but definitely to being a professional. And so he's got a passion for helping individuals recognize their untapped potential and evolve into their best versions of themselves. He's also an author, so we're going to ask him about that. He's the author of a new book, Open Doors, a proven guide for reaching your highest potential and reaching your dreams. So excited to hear about that. And he's also a successful realtor and certified high performance coach there in New Braunfels, Texas. So we're love to welcome a friend of ours, Yitzchak Pierson. So if you could tell us
Hey,
a little bit more about yourself, and of course, as Mike mentioned, the purpose of our podcast is really to reveal some solutions for the life, law, and business. But that covers a lot of ground, and we're excited to meet with folks and find out what your solution point is. So, a little bit about that.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for having me. It's been, a tremendous journey, learning constantly and then, helping other people and always giving back. So that's definitely one of the solutions that I have found in my life. I've gone through a lot, career changes, had a very untraditional upbringing and, met a lot of good people along the way. And, I appreciate y'all having me as your first guest of this year. So a little bit about myself. I guess I was homeschooled, grew up, kept out of the system, kind of a very religious upbringing. And I was homeschooled only till the seventh grade. I kind of went into the family businesses. We had a construction company and a pottery and wrought iron import business, and then advertising magazine. It was a very entrepreneurial type of family. So started working at a young age, but mostly manual labor jobs. And so then, I formed a lot of beliefs around only being able to do manual labor jobs, not having a lot of belief in myself because of the lack of education, only, going till seventh grade. Then got into manufacturing when I turned 18, more building big electrical panels, for power plants and oil refineries. Did some technical stuff, like I was a CNC machine operator, did some programming type stuff. And then just as I got older, about after I turned 25, I started thinking bigger and like wanting more out of life, and started learning because I realized I didn't want to stay in that industry and I was going to have to start over in another industry. So I got into real estate investing, and then kind of got into, I wanted to get my real estate license because that would help me just being immersed in the industry. And I knew it would also open up more opportunities outside of just the very closed environment that I was in. A lot of people who didn't think outside of the box. It was, there's a certain mentality that comes with working for a company and being an hourly employee, and just, clocking in and clocking out rather than being an entrepreneur or a business owner. So when I knew that I was going to switch careers, I knew that I'd meet more people who were a lot more open-minded. The ceiling on my potential as far as earning income, I wanted to be in an industry where there was no cap on that earning potential, and just be able to put in, you get what you put in, you get out of it what you put into it. And so I really loved that part about real estate. And then just the continuing education, always having opportunities to learn. And then I got into coaching because of that. And my first coach really helped me become more self-aware and helped me with branding and marketing and different things like that. And I wanted to do that for other people. And through networking, I got to meet really great people like you in other industries. that really helped me flourish. I've got really great advice, and I've just been really good at taking that advice from people and implementing it and taking action, and then just taking solutions from other people and shortening the learning curve, rather than me having to put in all of the trial and error. If somebody else has a better way to do it and it's been done before with positive results, then, why try and reinvent the wheel? Success leaves clues. And if I can learn how to be successful quicker, then that's the best solution for me. So that's a little bit about me there.
Well, networking, I mean, you hit it right on the head. That's how we met.
Yes.
I remember we met you networking at a New Braunfels Chamber event. So the power of the network, and that was actually a topic we had in another podcast. Someone talked to us about the power of the network. So what would you say, maybe in your networks? That's one network that we met, and clearly you have another network with your coaching. You have another network with the realty and probably others. What would you say would be maybe a bridge or a common denominator for those networks that you found that is just so valuable?
I think there's lots of through lines, being business owners, entrepreneurs, professionals in different industries. A lot of it, one of my favorite sayings is, your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development, because success is something you attract by the person you become. That's Jim Rohn. And so I think everybody in those industries is always trying to improve themselves, go learn, how can I improve my business? How can I improve my life? How can I get more time to spend with my family? Whatever the priority is for that individual, whether, there's freedom, financial freedom, but before that, it's freedom of time. They kind of go hand in hand. So I think most of those individuals who are out there networking in the different groups, they're all looking for, there's very few things that fulfill us. If we have more time to spend with the loved ones, we have the money that we don't have to worry about the bills when we're spending that free time, then that's something that's a kind of a through line that I've noticed. Getting like with y'all, one of the first things that we talked about was writing a book. You all had books that you were able to give me and sort of gave me some advice on how to go about that. That stuck in my head was, it's something, instead of a business card that you're out networking, people are a lot less likely to throw away a book than a business card. And, that was really impactful to me. And then it gives you authority and subject matter expert. And so shortly after meeting y'all, I wrote my first book, 9 Steps to Buying a Home as a First-Time Home Buyer. And it helped me have more clarity on the steps that it takes to get there, so that I could better articulate those steps to my clients and have something to hand them that they can read. Whether they read it or not, it still was something that made me more impactful in their lives as a realtor that they would want to choose. And then I built on top of that and wrote a book on top tips for selling your home for top dollar, a book for sellers, so that I could give out at every listing appointment as well. And just in networking, I've learned so much from other people that I've met. I used to think that, I had to do it all by myself, or I had to figure it all out. And over the last few years, I've really adopted the collaboration with others and brainstorming and masterminding to get more of my time back and to shorten the amount of time that it takes me to accomplish a task.
Well, Yitzchak, I know I'm very impressed with how much you've accomplished at your age. You're a very young man, but it really impresses me how focused you are and how focused you've been, and getting to see kind of part of the latest part of your journey. So that's very impressive. Now, do you know a problem that you see on a regular basis, be it from your real estate you're coaching or as an author, a problem that you see that people have that you've come up with maybe your own spin on a solution for that particular problem?
I think in the real estate industry, as far as realtor professionals in general, or business owners or entrepreneurs, a lot of times there's self-limiting beliefs that are there. It's resounding, it's another through line through coaching, whatever business. We tend to have thoughts that limit us, and we believe that story, or we believe, I used to believe that I couldn't do anything other than manual labor. So really finding those self-limiting beliefs, and then being able to have the tools to reframe those beliefs. Say for me, cold calling, or as a realtor, making phone calls was something that's I was never comfortable with. I never had to do it. So like being able to say, I'm afraid that I'm going to get hung up on, or somebody's going to be very angry or mean over the phone. If I have that mindset going into the phone call, then it's more likely to happen. So really working to reframe, okay, this person is going to be so happy to hear from me. They were going to be thinking about selling their home or buying their home, and I called them at just the right time. And so we form a relationship through being more energetic and cheerful rather than being more fearful and scared. But it's also just taking the action and putting in the reps of doing that, and having the right mindset going into it. And that can be with any industry. I've gotten really good at social media, and that's something that people tend to fear, getting in front of a camera or talking. And it was one of those things where I was like, I could see myself doing that because people didn't want to do it. It was like, okay, I know if I just do something and do it more, then I'll get better at it through taking that action to move forward. And if I focus on my beliefs, that I, instead of thinking, oh, I'm bad in front of the camera, or it's like, no, I believe that I will get better at doing this thing consistently. And then it's having habits and routines to help with those self-limiting beliefs, having triggers when something comes up, that a thought comes up that doesn't serve you. Does this thought serve me or not? Is it going to help me accomplish my goal that I'm working towards, or is it going to set me back or hold me back? So just more consistently coming up with habits and routines and triggers that help with those self-limiting beliefs, so that you can move forward and accomplish the things that you're working to accomplish. And a lot of it is just taking action, even when you're not ready and you don't have the belief in yourself. Is just overcoming those self-limiting beliefs.
We have a phrase that we use a lot, Mike and I, from a mentor group, and we've got plenty of t-shirts, more t-shirts than I'd like to say, but it's a good thing. But it's called "Action Kills Fear."
Yes.
And that's really sometimes, that self-limiting belief, that fear paralyzes you.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to take that action and start to tip that, domino for subsequent action to happen. I wanted to ask you.
Let me just stop, plus
Go
one.
ahead.
So
Plus one.
we all know what fear means. It's an acronym for false evidence appearing real.
Yes.
So that's something that really strikes a balance. Is there's nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
But before I give the floor back to you, Kat, one of the things that really struck me right now when you were talking was you have to put in the reps.
Mm-hmm.
Those self-limiting beliefs. You're right when you say you're not good at something, but nobody's good at something the first time they do it. Yeah. Nobody was good at riding their bike the first time they got on it. Because you have to put in the reps. You have to practice it. No matter what it is, nobody is born with that perfect talent to be able to do that particular thing perfectly the very first time.
Yeah.
So putting in the reps and just acknowledging that that's what it takes. And I know a little bit about you personally, so I know you're very much into physical fitness and taking care of your health. So that discipline, I think, helps you with all of these different aspects, that you bring that discipline of, hey, I just need to put in the reps, and if I keep doing this, I'm eventually going to get to my goal, because there's nothing else that can happen. If I continue improving, I'm going to get better, and then I'm going to be the best. So I just wanted to add that. So go ahead, Kat.
No, it's good. It's good. One of the things that you mentioned about was social media, and that's on my plate. It's my responsibility for all our law firm, and I know that realtors, that's definitely been a fantastic tool. And like you mentioned, sometimes you feel hesitant, like, do I want to put myself out there? I don't feel, comfortable doing this, and you have to break that barrier. What was that moment I don't know specifically when that moment was, because I look at your social media and it's very on point, and I've seen it on point for a long time. But what was that moment when you looked at something and you're like, oh yeah, I've got this down, or I think I found the secret sauce to that? What kind of triggered that moment for you?
I think it's several little things over time. Some of the things that have stood out to me, that when I found out, one, your voice, most people don't like hearing their voice in videos. And I have friends that are musicians and things like that. So first time I ever heard my voice through a microphone, it's very jarring to hear that. But I think somebody told me that we hear our voice differently because our voice is echoing through our body. It's absorbed by our bones and tissue, and through, so we hear our voice a certain way compared to how other people hear it, and when it comes through a video or a microphone. And so that helped me get over the fact. I was like, okay, so the way I'm only hearing a difference, everybody else is hearing me the same way on video, essentially. So that was helpful. And then again, being in front of a camera, needing to be all done up or a certain way, people like authenticity and vulnerability, and knowing that you're a human just like they are. So not being perfect. Now, I've gotten better at some of my videos. I use a script and I use a teleprompter just so that I can get it done quicker, but that's more for my benefit. It's helped me to get better on camera and saying more words and being able to articulate things better. But some of the best videos are just when it's natural. It's not perfect, and you just put it out there. And a lot of times, one of my favorite sayings is, perfection is the enemy of completion, and done is better than perfect. And thinking about the long term of, you're going to be making social media. If you're in a business where that's part of the business, you're going to be making hundreds, if not thousands of videos. So don't focus on the one video that you just don't like. Just put it out there. Think about when somebody's scrolling, they might see it for a second or two, and they're going to scroll past it and not think about it again. You have to usually have 8 to 12 touch points or times before somebody sees your social media where they start paying attention. And so that in mind helped me to just be like, all right, I'm just going to keep putting it out there. And again, going back to doing the reps, I've gotten better through doing the consistent action of filming videos, shooting videos, them not being good, listening to myself over on the video and being like, okay, I can improve there, or, not have so many filler words. So those things helped me to get past it. And then I think we tend to see all of these people on social media, influencers and things like that, and the way that their video has been very edited, and that costs some money, getting a lot of editing, or it takes you time to learn how to do all of that. And oftentimes that doesn't necessarily bring us in money. So I work to get better at finding free apps or minimal cost things to help me get from point A to point B a lot quicker. Like, okay, I'll film the footage and then I'll go edit it in a free app called CapCut, and then I'll put captions on it, because I think 85 to 90% of people watch videos without sound on, because they're either in the bathroom or at work or laying in bed. So the captions really help you get more audience, they actually listen to what you're saying and would stay on the video for longer. But something that I've noticed in social media lately is they're talking about people who keep doing super edited influencer type videos with all of the captions and just a lot of fluff added into the video. It's taking away from the personality and authenticity and vulnerability of the individuals, where that person's going to connect with you more and see that you're a normal person just like them. You're doing some of the same things that you are. So not just posting straight business stuff. A lot of times it's posting more of your personal life, your hobbies, your health and exercise, the things that you live for. You shouldn't be just living to work. It's about, working so that you can live. So show the things that you do in your life and your daily outside of work. And that's what people are going to connect with more than a very overproduced, highly edited video that's pitching you their product. And so it's more of that authenticity that comes. And so those are some of the things that I've learned through my social media journey.
Great.
All right.
What shows?
Go ahead. Oh,
no, go ahead.
So one of the things that we always try to ask our guests is to share with us one of their core values, so that maybe other people may, as they're developing their core values or trying to articulate them, sometimes getting that feedback from somebody else's point of view of that core value will help them kind of structure their own core values and be able to articulate them. Would you share maybe one of your core values that you live by or make decisions by?
Yeah. Before I got into this industry and started thinking about bigger picture, I did a lot of partying in my younger years, and just none of these things were topics that I had. These weren't conversations that I had with people. So I've worked and refined and tried to figure out, okay, what are my core values, what is important to me in life. And I think it's still evolving for me through the different iterations and the people that I learn from. But I mean, honesty and integrity, those are kind of some of at the core of how I want to interact with people and how I want my business transactions. But I think authenticity and vulnerability are big for me as well, because I used to try and do everything on my own, and I realized I couldn't do everything on my own. So I had to be vulnerable and ask for help. So I think we all have different definitions and frames of references for core values, so they're going to be different for people, but those are some of the ones that stick out to me. And then just contribution, being able to give back everything that I've learned, all of the people who have helped me and given me a hand up, like I want to be able to return that favor. So just the contribution of giving back so that I can sort of pay it forward for all of the help that I've got throughout my journey. And I wouldn't be here without the people that have helped me along the way.
Great. Before we wrap up, I don't want to miss an opportunity to ask about your latest book, Open Doors, Proven Guide for Reaching Your Highest Potential and Reaching Your Dreams. What was the inspiration and what was like a little surprise that, maybe that you didn't expect that came from this process of writing this book?
So it kind of ties a lot of the things that we've talked about together. I had planned to write a book. I had a Facebook memory pop up that I had started writing this book 12 years ago, and it was just going to be about my life, very granular, on my childhood and the way that I was raised, and then just I put it on hold. I wasn't really good at typing, so I didn't see doing it the traditional way. I didn't, wasn't trained, didn't know how to write a book. So kind of these excuses kept coming up, or different reasons not to finish it. And also, I had a lot more adversities happen to me. So didn't really know how to end the book. So I formed the habit of reading because I never read, because I knew I could get more knowledge. And so one of the books that I read was called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And he talks about articulating your story in the hero's journey, which is a way that most movies are written and different things like that. But then he also had he talked about doing the perfect webinar, or being able to tell your story so that the end of it, somebody's going to be more invested in working with you or purchasing something for you. So don't just tell your story to tell your story, like have a purpose behind it to help other people and also to help yourself. And so then that was in the back of my mind. I was like, okay, now I can kind of see the reason to, write a book and tell my story and how to tell a little bit better. And then through social media, I was doing a class where the instructor had just me and a partner go out and film a video during the class, more immersion. Here, go do this exercise. And it was like answering a question: how did you get into real estate? I answered that question, just edited the video, uploaded it. It came up in the Explore feed on Instagram for a book publisher named Chris Cowley. She has Game Changers publishing company that she's had for 20 years or more, since 1998. And she's on the Forbes Business Council. She knows Tony Robbins. She knows Ed Mylett, some of the people that I look up to. And she reached out to me on Instagram based off of that reel and DM'd me. And so I was like, okay, part of the book is called Open Doors, and it's about being able to see those open doors and opportunities in life and knowing when to walk through those doors, and how that can be the difference between leading an ordinary life or an extraordinary life. And so I saw it as an opportunity. I met with her chief of staff, and they had a way to help you get a book completely done and published into bestsellers list within a relatively short amount of time, 90 days to 4 months, 3 to 4 months. And they're leveraging technologies such as, like, Zoom now has something called Fathom AI, which is a free app that goes along with it that records your Zoom sessions, and then it'll give an AI transcription of the bullet points. And so we did about 3 90-minute brain dump sessions where I told my story on Zoom, and then we had the transcription. And so then it was a working manuscript that got the bulk of my story down. And then I went back and edited it and completely finished out the book. And then their team went and did all of the proper syntax and editing and book cover design. It was a done with you process that was extremely beneficial for me to actually have a finished product. I would have probably never finished the book if I had not leveraged their services and got their advice from people who have written books. So my original concept was completely different than the finished product, because they really helped me dial in what is the reader going to get from reading this book? What benefit is it going to have to them? And so then I was able to tell my story in preface of, hey, here was the adversities that I went through, here were the lessons that I learned, and here is some of the tools and tactics that you can take into your life to reach your highest potential and achieve your dreams.
Super. Well, honey, we need to look at that AI, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like a winner right there.
Free app, and I record all of my meetings, so I don't have to focus on taking notes. And then it just gives me the full transcriptions, and then like a summary of, hey, here's what each person talked about. And then it's a great resource and tool. So that's my solutions, and I try and give to everybody is find a way to reduce the amount of friction that it takes you to get to a finished product. Whatever it is that you're doing, find the people that you can help leverage, partner with, find the tools and technologies and resources to systemize whatever you can to help you get to that goal, so that you get more of your time back to do with it as you please.
Great.
Well, thank you. This was loaded with some great tips, great advice, great solutions. So I'm gonna that Zoom AI is gonna be a writer downer.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
And for those of you out there on YouTube or podcast, go ahead and like us. If you like what you heard, share with us, give us a review so that other people who are looking to find solutions to their problems in life, business, or the law will have find their way to our podcast and be able to get those solutions. See you next time.